This featuring Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You album go hard as no Diddy. I mean, this album is feature packed, no Diddy. I mean, this album bangs. No Diddy? Despite the biggest topic of the featuring Metro Boomin album, We Don't Trust You, being Kendrick Lamar's verse dissing Drake on the song Like That, which, by the way, I didn't think when I wrote this original script that it was going to get as nasty as it has. Maybe I should talk about it, I don't know. But it's pretty nasty. Not Like Us, wow. People missed out on the intricate details of the overall work if you pay attention to the context and expands beyond the average listener's imagination. For example, there are bits and pieces of a 2009 interview featuring New York hip-hop legend Prodigy, one half of the music group Mobb Deep, scattered across the album, where he expresses his feelings about hip-hop at that particular time. If you're anything like me, you probably thought that Prodigy was just talking shit about the South, and I'm gonna tell you right now, he wasn't. Honestly, he had a whole lot to say in that interview, matter of fact.
Oh, something, man. You know what I mean? Got a lot of fucking garbage ass rappers out here running around like these niggas ain't supposed to be rapping, son. You know what I mean? This game is meant for a select circle of few, select few, man. Everybody's not for everybody, man. Just don't think you could just start rapping this shit, man. Like, stop it, man. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired. You know what I mean? It's time to just let it out. A lot of corny ass niggas, man. A lot of corny rappers, man. I'm just like, yo, man. I could name a list of 100 corny ass rappers, yo, right now. Mad niggas from New York.
And as you can see in the context of the whole entire interview, and this is why you can get away with clipping someone and then take it out of context. He was addressing people in New York as well.
I do my thing, man. Nigga, do something else, nigga. Go sell some drugs, nigga. Do something with yourself, nigga. Go fucking paint a house. Whoever your favorite MC is, you hurting our ears. That shit is annoying. Like, stop it, man. Just cause niggas got a chain, some jewelry, and they dress like the motherfucking part they want to be, the rappers and shit. Like, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? Let the rap niggas do it. We the professionals, son. We professionals at what we do. Like,
this from the
cut it out, son. Go fucking do some carpeting or something, man. Who's the worst motherfucking rapper on the planet? Oh, God. I think Joe Buttons is on that.
Bro, even back in 2009, Joe Budden couldn't catch a break, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I never liked his music either, be real. And even to this very day, Joe Budden has always been disrespectful to Southern artists. It's no secret that Southern hip hop is either loved or hated for not conforming to his biological brother Boom Bap, and we're not the only ones who experienced that, as many West Coast artists struggle to get their music syndicated in the city of New York. Just hold on to that thought. I mean, there was a reason why one of the members of the most underrated hip-hop duo of all time, Outkast, stood on stage at the Source Awards, which was hosted in New York, and said this.
It's like this though, I'm tired of folks, you know what I'm saying? Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear, but it's like this, the South got something to say, that's all I got to say.
If you pay attention to some of the comments under this article, which explains where Metro Boomin got the quotes from the album, and you can see that a lot of people still share the same sentiment that the South has not arrived yet, or Prodigy would not rock with them. By the way, my boy Metro Boomin rocking this New York Yankee fitted cap is kind of comedy, honestly. To be honest, this is the reason why the Southern movement has been probably one of the biggest movements of music altogether, influencing other people. How, you might ask? Well, let's explore the sampling secrets of Metro Boomin on the song Like That. Just to set the record straight, I'm not saying what Metro Boomin did on the song was super complex in terms of technique or if the idea was refreshing. That's honestly the point. To keep it simple and familiar could be the most complex thing if applied properly. It is not easy to do. It's fair to say that the inspiration was the key motive. A quick visit to whosampled.com would reveal that the Tear Up Club Up Thugs featuring Project Pat, Who's the Crookest, was the first song to have this particular sample in it. Due to the nature of this video, I have to respect YouTube's copyright claiming system, and what I did was I have a full raw and uncut version of this video that will be a part of the membership on this channel. So make sure that you join the channel if you like raw and uncut videos that don't have to be censored or edited. But there's a bigger picture to the story if you look at what they both sampled, which is Rodney O and DJ Joe Cooley's Everlasting Bass. Rodney O and DJ Joe Cooley are a rap group from Southern California, which at the time were signed to the Egyptian Empire. The owner of the record label was the underrated hip-hop artist, producer, and engineer that goes by the name of Egyptian Lover. More about him in a future video. The song Everlasting Bass happened to be a very popular song during 1988, just not popular in the state of New York because it didn't share the many similarities of hip-hop at that time period. Which bothers me because if you look back at hip-hop in that time period, it seemed more diverse, or at least that's what the narrative was back for that time period. An iconic hip-hop line from that time period, 1988, "It's time to set the record straight," and that was "Ain't No Half Stepping" from Big Daddy Kane, which, you know, I listened to him when I was a youngster. And don't worry, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm setting the record straight right now. Ironically, the iconic group were pretty vocal about not getting their airplay in New York City. And when I say vocal, I mean that, as they expressed that in a song called Fuck New York.
Yeah, that's because what we was known for and popular for, it seemed to me, maybe it really didn't, but seemed to me had totally died. Like the 808 was almost seems like to me was a thing of the past by the time Get Ready to Roll came out. It was about harder, it was, I wouldn't say boom bap, but more harder hitting beats. Not the 808 bass like I was using. It still sounded good. We'd still drop it on the one or something like that, but your primary beat wasn't the 808. It was that, and it was the change of the culture. I did it because I would be out on the road with a lot of New York groups, and they were pissed because we went on after them. And the promoters would come and tell us, "Man, they don't like that. You guys are on this show," you know, because they was New York groups. They felt like they owned it. And I get that now. I didn't get it back then. It would just piss me off then. So, and they wouldn't play our records. MTV wouldn't play our videos and stuff like that. So I said, well, if y'all not gonna like me, I'm gonna give you a reason.
Which wouldn't be the last time that someone actually had those type of feelings about the East Coast. Look, I'm not trying to bring up old feelings, it's just in context to this story. But I do have a question for you. Do you think that Metro Boomin kind of masterminded the way that he sampled and what he sampled just to get that point across in his tirade with Drake? I'm just unpeeling the layers, all right? Despite struggling to get syndicated in the hip-hop mecca known as New York City, they found themselves a homogenous fan base in the southeastern region, like Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. You get the point. Ears were more than welcome. They actually influenced the magnitude of how the Southern culture would be like for the next couple of decades. Funny enough, it wasn't just an East Coast versus West Coast thing. There was an underrated rap group by the name of the Showboys that we're going to talk about on this channel in the future because they had a massive influence on the game with their record Drag Rap. Man, I hate to see it. But let's break down some of the intricacies of this very classic. So let's sample the record inside of the MPC. Now that the sampling process is done, we can play it back and listen to the sample. But what we're going to do is go into edit. And then from here, it's on you if you want to do this, but you can process it a little bit more. I will just go ahead and make this normalized so we can all hear it in its proper perspective. So everything makes sense in that case. We'll just trim it up. You know, a simple process, trimming on the MPC. You always can do it like this. So we adjusted the endpoint here. And from here, we just go into process, discard, get rid of all the extra stuff. And then we'll just take it from here because remember, the first thing about it, it does not sound like that initially when you are listening to like that. So if I was to tune it down to one semitone, -1, then you'll start to hear that it sounds more like how it's supposed to be. And what we should do in regards, instead of just pitching it down on the tune, we should always go into process, and then we'll go into process and we'll do this right here, which is pitch shift, pitch it down 1 semitone, and then it'll go through the process itself. Now it's more like the actual Like That record or Who's the Crunkest. Now let's talk about the sample chopping process, because it's pretty easy to do. Now what we want to do is make up some random chops here, or just make sure that, well, we're not randomly chopping it, but we're going to manually chop it. But I'm going to go ahead and set the snap to 0 so that we don't get any popping. Bop, that's your next chop, because you want to hear this part. Now you can always adjust it. You want to adjust it using your Q links. You know, that's the classic MPC way. And let's get more of the crash in there. That was a late. All right. And now we'll just get the other parts in there. We want to go ahead and move that over one. So play with the chops. And then we have everything chopped up the way we need it to be. So of course, just going to convert, simple stuff. And then we already got everything together. As a further note, if you want to play with this part of the sample, because we want to do tap tempo. I already know that it's 86, 87 BPM. So what I'll do is I'll just show you that you can tap tempo your stuff in, even if you're just chopping it up in FL Studio or Ableton Live. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now that we have that chopped up, what I'm going to go ahead and do is go into main, and then I'm going to pull up that program, and we'll just lay it out. So the first thing we want to do is do the intro, because the intro is very key to this song. So what we'll do is just name this sequence intro, and then we'll just do it like that. It's 2 bars, because if you count the way that Metro chops it up at the very beginning, it is always going to be 2 bars. So let's do that. 3, 4. And if it's too fast, you need to adjust the BPM. So let's adjust it to 8634. And let's hear a loop. That's cool with me. And you can always layer it with another crash from the TR-808 or just a sample like that. Everybody has that sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy the sequence over, because I need some of the elements, but I'm going to name this main. You can name it whatever. And then we'll just go ahead and go into main, press the main button, and then we'll just lay out this part. So let's get that. Matter of fact, I messed up. Next sequence should be 4 bars. So what we're going to do is record, play, start, and we chop the sample in 2 ways. Hey. And if you ever have timing like that off, we can always tighten that up, because it seems like it's a little too loose, because we have that different space in there. We can always do a little bit more. We'll just do 87 BPM. Boom. And then we can always adjust from there. And let's go ahead and tighten it up a little bit more. Let's enter in 87, like 2, 3. All right, so 8723 works. I can go ahead and do that to the beginning sequence. I don't necessarily have to. I can leave it at 86 That's the best thing about the MPC altogether. You don't have to stick to a certain kind of BPM for all the sequences. So the next thing I need to do is just make in like a verse or something like that, because there is a part that is key to this, because the track itself does not sound exactly the same the whole way around. This one right here, again, I'll just make it 87, 87.23 or 87.23, and then we'll just add this part in and try to do our best with it. Don't worry about being offbeat. And the reason why I can be offbeat like this is because the MPC in itself, it has what you call quantize in the DAW world, but on here it is called timing correct. So everything is on, and then we can explore from here. Let's go to the next sequence, and then we have the whole entire thing together. Simple like that. Hey. The beautiful thing about this sample is you can go any way with this joint. Like, you don't need to lay out no drums over it. You could lay over some melodics. You could layer some drums. No matter what you do to this, it's already a dope ass record as is. It's one of my favorite records of all time. Another one of the samples in this track comes from one of my favorite Eazy-E LPs. Funny enough, the sample was also used by 666 Mafia on one of their most slept on albums, The Unbreakables. You can hear it on the song Riding Spinners. The level of nuance is a bit of a reach when it comes to Metro Boomin demonstrating his sampling skills, but one thing I can take away from it is he's showing a level of awareness that I haven't seen since the Shockley brothers. And if you don't know who Hank Shockley is, he actually produced for Public Enemy. He was the main producer for Public Enemy for years, as he produced one of the biggest records that I enjoyed as a kid that influenced me in hip hop, which is Fight the Power. And he also produced for Ice Cube on his first solo album, which is America's Most Wanted. Walking it back to the Eazy-E sample, she refers to men as dogs, while Eazy-E interrupts and tells her to shut the fuck up. Can I get a drizzle drizzle? In terms of the song like that, the sample fits the criteria of our Atlanta native Future in more ways than one. Say what you must, the term dog is a good incantation, and it could be a bad one too as well. In my opinion, I think it's the latter, but if you think about the phrase, he's a dog, then it could mean something of other things. It could mean a myriad of things, honestly. It depends on the context, both flattering or otherwise, then you see the broader concept of the song. I mean, Future's first bar is, I'm gonna stick to the code because these hoes are for the streets. I mean, it doesn't get more surface level than that, but if you take on the nuance of the sample, then yeah, you can read more into it. Love it or hate it, I think Metro Boomin masterminded a phenomenal record. I mean, from the bars from Future to Kendrick Lamar addressing things as he should, and you cannot discredit Metro Boomin as a music producer just because he's using something that someone else used. It's all about familiarity in this business, and just creativity-wise, I think it shows that he has a historical context that many people in his age bracket do not have, and also teaching a brighter future for what it is. And that's no pun intended with me saying future there, but I just want to know what you guys think about it. I mean, we already know what Drake's #1 fan thinks about it, and it don't look like it ended very well for Drake at that. And honestly, we should be thanking DJ Academics, because if we look 4 months ago, he was actually making fun of Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar, which he has always been against for some godforsaken reason, probably jealous of their talent level. But God's honest truth, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have got all this great music in these past couple of weeks. So big shout out to DJ Academics, because clearly Metro Boomin, Kendrick Lamar, Future, and whomever else, they don't trust you. To the right of me, I have more content for that ass. Make sure you subscribe. I know I've been gone for a minute. I've been working on content heavily and focusing more. I've had a lot of things going on in my personal life. I do apologize, but we back now. We officially back. And make sure you join the channel if you want more content that is uncut and raw.